Is Angry Birds Racing a good replacement for Angry Birds Go? Angry Birds Go has been released for well over a decade now and was removed from the app stores all over the world in 2019, and it is one of the greatest Angry Birds games out there to ever exist, and fans have been craving for a re-release or even a sequel to this amazing game. Us fans, we want something to play while we wait, and Rovio had a nice idea of making a not fully inspired but another go at a racing Angry Birds game, which obviously resulted in Angry Birds Racing, which was another game that was a 2D not 3D racer. Quite nice to see them not going with a game that was built around the movie style graphics and were saturated with too much microtransactions. We can still see evidence of base of microtransactions that are needed to succeed in the game. This game is not fully released yet, but it has great potential, and it was released on October 25th of 2022, which is just underneath 2 years now, and it was also removed from app stores, but you can still download it. But in this time frame, we got a lot of gameplay footage, and we also have had Angry Birds Go, which was released for about 6 years before being removed. So obviously we had footage and gameplay, and also footage and gameplay of Angry Birds Racing. A bit of a summary of Angry Birds Racing, the goal of the game. The goal of the game, of course, is to be one of the first 16 racers to pass the finish line, but you can progressively increase the speed of the race through different means of flips, jumps, and also just not bumping into any debris. But there's 5 different leagues that you can play through and progress through each league by playing the game more and more, and you can also rank up your characters by getting in-game coins, which was pretty good for a beta or a game this is currently at. And Angry Birds Racing having a 2D art style compared to the Angry Birds 3D art style has a very addictive tone to it, which we haven't seen in the latest releases of Angry Birds games, which is quite crazy, and it has an amazing art that us fans we really liked. But it does have some mobile industry being influenced, looking very like similar to the Brawl Stars UI, which is obviously Angry Birds Go being obviously a different game, a 3D, more true to its time, being a bit older, so it's not caught up to the latest trends and methods of the recent 2020s style of mobile games. Being a bit biased to the Angry Birds Go, but I enjoy the Angry Birds Go a bit more compared to game wise and aesthetics. But obviously with the game of Angry Birds Racing being not fully released and being in early access, it is not a polished finished game, and it needs a lot more polishing to be done, and I feel like it's a bit unfair to give it a complete comparison to a polished finished game that Angry Birds Go is, and it was created, developed, even had maybe 4 to 5 updates, but with the biggest update being version 2.0, which has its own discussion for being worse in the game, but that's for another time. But I feel that Angry Birds Racing has great potential to be one of the comeback stories of the Angry Birds franchise, for being a turning point for the future development of Angry Birds games that Rovio has sadly not been able to get out of the hole of making very terrible games for the last couple of years. But this could be the turning point if they do fully release the game, which Rovio also have a notorious history for just shutting down games way too early in development. So we'll have to fully find out what the game is like before we actually compare the game side to side. But Angry Birds Racing is a brilliant game that you should check out if you do have it installed, or if you want to download the APK on Android. The true test is, it's up to you to see if you fully or prefer Angry Birds Racing to Angry Birds Go. But right now, obviously, you have to keep the crown on Angry Birds Go for just being a better game overall. And let me know your thoughts on this topic down below, and I'll read them all, and I'll see you guys in the next one.